Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I have got today Patrick Businge from the UK. Patrick is an author. He is into Les Brown training team. Hey, Patrick, welcome on board.
Hello, Dr. Farouk. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. I'm so thrilled to see you. I've been trying to catch you for the last 2 weeks, and you have been so busy with interviews, and at last I got you today.
It's always a pleasure when great people meet, and I'm very grateful to have a chance to talk to you today about greatness, to have a chance to talk to you about some of the great people on the upcoming book that I'm writing, Les Brown Change Our Lives.
Good. Tell me more about yourself, where you come from and what you do right now.
Well, I wasn't born in the greatness of Great Britain. I was born in the poverty of Uganda. I was born in the war-afflicted country, Uganda. I do remember vividly when I was still in primary school. That evening, we had just finished our dinner. And given that we didn't have electricity, we were seated. We used to have our dinners outside under the moonlight or the starlight. And all of a sudden, we started hearing shots of gunfire outside, a bit far. So my dad said, run. So every one of us ran, leaving the courtyard, into the banana plantation that was at the back of the house and down the valley. And we didn't come back home until the morning. Coming back home, we couldn't even recognize our house because some of the things had been stolen and part of it destroyed, doors, windows. And importantly, my dad's house, my dad's shop, which he owned, had already been burgled. But also, the school that I used to go to had come under barracks. And then I found myself and my brothers and sisters and parents and some of the people from our village leaving for another town, leaving for another life, and traveling at the back of a refugee truck. We met lots of roadblocks on the way, and the soldiers would be asking us, who are you? Where have you been? Where are you going? So those are questions that not just asked simply, but as well, as I was traveling and reached on the other side of where my parents came from, the village where my parents had been born, I continued asking those questions through that time because I had almost a whole year out of school because of war. I couldn't go to school. So it gave me time to think about who am I? Where have I been with my life? And where am I going? And that, to me, is part of the dream. That's part of my story. It felt the thirst and hunger for peace, being an instrument of peace. But as well, it felt the thirst for greatness, being able to live a great life or a better life than the one I found myself in. And that, to me, is more or less the roots of what I'm doing today. Fast forward 23 years afterwards, and I found myself in the United Kingdom doing my studies, completed my university degree, did teacher training, I work as a teacher, and I specialize in special education, of which I qualified with a PhD from the University of Exeter, one of the best in the world. And now I'm busy working and researching on greatness.
Wow. So you, Patrick, you are a very good example for those people who find excuses in everything. There are people you'll find in the world, they have excuses for everything. They would either blame the weather, they blame the parents, they blame the country, they blame the politicians, they blame everything. But you were completely destroyed. And then from there, you came up to the level where you are today and connected with people like Les Brown, the international speaker and motivational speaker and leader, Les Brown. And what made you connect with Les Brown and come up with a book which has got Les Brown on the cover page?
Well, one of the things that you say is that people who kind of look at adversity and don't see the advantage point of it.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, there's always a second side, a third side, a fifth side to anything, depends on how someone interprets it. So there are people who have the power, everyone has the power to turn the adversity into advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in war, but I did not let war live in me.
Wow. That's very strong. Could you repeat that once again?
I did say I lived in war, but I did not let war live in me.
And that's what most of the people live in. They got the war within them, and therefore they don't see the green and they don't see the greatness what the creator of the heavens and the earth has provided to us.
Yes, and that definitely provided the connection with me and Les Brown. Was looking at Les Brown's life, the lots of challenges he faced growing up, being adopted, struggle with getting a job, being successful in the speaking industry. He did not let his circumstances define him. He went above. He believed it was possible. So looking at Les Brown's story, I can really easily read my life through it. And because of that, I've developed a great connection with him. I belong to his institute, and his children are my mentors, and Ona Brown, Serena Brown, all those people have great connections, and importantly, the institute has made me to connect with great people like you. And that's the power of not letting our adversities limit our expectations, limit on what we can achieve.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You came up with two books. The first book was The 7 Steps of Greatness, and which was released last December, if I'm correct. And then you're going to come up with a new one, which is Les Brown Changed My Life.
Yes.
And both the books are connected with Les Brown?
I would say the first one is inspired by how he has helped me look back into my life and read the different steps I've gone through to be where I am. So I did talk about the 3 questions. Who am I? Where have I been? And where am I going? So that 7 Steps Greatness book deals with those key questions that people ask or should be asking about their lives. Who am I? So the first step is to find yourself.
Socrates says, what do you mean by find yourself? Find yourself in different areas of life: physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, educational, financial. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, there's the outside bit of it. But the problem is that the outside of ourselves is too crowded. So in that book, in that first step, I'm helping people not just find themselves outside. This is my name, this is what I do. That doesn't really define us. What defines us is what happens inside us. So it's taking the journey back to your heart, taking the journey back to your soul so that you discover the power within. Help people discover the pressure within themselves that's going to push them through the challenges of life. And that pressure, once the inside pressure is greater than the outside pressure, the odds don't matter. The problems don't matter because the pressure inside is greater than the outside. And we are not going to live our lives as flat tires. So you can't imagine a car with a flat tire. So
absolutely.
Our life is not worth living. Once you discover the pressure within you, once you discover what you are from the inside, then you can't settle for a small life. And that's what the first step is all about.
Wow. Yeah, Pat, your second book, I could see that Serena Brown has written the foreword for your second book. How did you manage to get her to write the forward?
Well, actually, the foreword will be written by Mike Williams.
Okay.
Mike Williams is the mentor to Les Brown. Mike
Okay.
Williams has been in the shadow of Les Brown for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're one of those people who listens to Les Brown speeches and Facebook Lives, within the first 2 minutes, he has to mention Mike Williams, the author of The Road to Your Best Stuff. So Mike Williams will be writing the foreword. And after that, then Serena Brown will be writing the afterword.
Okay.
Afterward. So it's going to be a massive surprise because not all books get afterwards.
Yes, that's
and
true.
yeah, at the moment, Serena Brown is the CEO of the Les Brown Institute and Les Brown Unlimited.
Yes.
So there's no better place, and a daughter, loved daughter and beloved daughter of the great Les Brown. I couldn't ask any other person than.
Great, excellent. There are a lot of people like you who are living in the war right now. When I say war, I'm talking about the mental war. They might be having a good family, financially sound, but they are still in the war, and they got dreams to write a book like you, but they don't come out and write the book. What are the steps would you give them to motivate and encourage them so that they can come out of the shell that they are living right now and then chase their dream? What would you tell them?
I believe the first thing really is to overcome the fear of failure. Because most people don't do what they want to do. They don't do what they dream of doing because they fear.
When you talk about, sorry for breaking you there, when you talk about fear of failure, there are also people who fear success.
Oh, definitely, yes. They'll fear. There are those who fear failure, and then you have the other extreme where people are scared of success. What do I do? How am I going to manage it? Well, looking at those both of them, then there is a need to take a leap of faith. And by the leap of faith, I mean is that the ability to find answers in your heart and follow your heart. Because where your heart is, then where is your treasure. And once you follow your heart, then you're able to do what other people are not able to do today and be successful and overcome the fear, overcome the anxiety. So that's one thing. But another thing is to find someone who has done something that you want to do. So if you want to write a book, then you go to someone who is a good book mentor. Like one of my books, I was mentored by Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy has written around 83 best-selling books. So there's no better person than Brian Tracy when it comes to book writing. Or if you want to speak, look for someone that you love and imitate and go for them. I want to speak, I went to Les Brown. So it's really finding a mentor that's going to take you step by step and help you and pull you out of possibly your comfort zone and stretch you. At the moment, I have around 6 people I'm working with personally and mentoring them, taking them through the book writing journey.
Wow.
Then finding the message. And the message is really looking at what do you really love? What are you good at? It could be about you. It could be about your profession. It could be about someone. Like I'm writing a book about Les Brown. I don't have the information, but had the skills to be able to look for that information where it is. And a good number of people are contributing that book. It's the first time ever they're going to appear in a book. So a good number of them are telling me, Patrick, you've really helped us to at least publish our stories. You've helped me start thinking about writing my own book. And I've got some people who say from there, say, okay, next step, Patrick, once this book is out, can you help me write my book? So it's kind of looking for the connectivity, looking for the connections wherever they are. on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
and the social media has made it so easy to connect with anyone at any time.
Absolutely. Now, Patrick, is your book just a book, or you're going to take the book to the next level? When I say next level, I'm talking about, are you coming up with some sort of training programs, workbooks, certification, etc., so that it's not just reading the book, but getting into more into, and maybe one day training what is already there in your book?
Well, when people write books, they think that you're going to make a lot of money by just writing the book.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do in my institute, which is Greatness University, is to help people discover their book within them, write that book, publish it, and then monetize it. Look for ways that book is going to make them more money than just selling the copies.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I mean by that? Like one of my books I wrote, I created a workbook. I've created training programs, seminars. I've created a journal around that book. Coaching, people are calling me to coach them. And mentorship programs. And book writing retreats using the same model of 7 Steps to Greatness.
Mm-hmm.
So the book I'm writing about Les Brown is just the beginning. It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. Patrick, so to wind up in a conclusion, it's not what you have, it's what you do with what you have that makes you a winner or a loser.
Definitely, yes.
And then there is nobody called loser. There's only learners. You only learn, you don't lose. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you have already learned in your life because you have faced wars. And when you talk about war, you're talking about external wars that you have come up with. But today, still you survive, and today you're a champion.
Oh, thank you very much for recognizing that. Yeah, I'm inspired by that. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Patrick. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Businge.
Thank you very much for listening to us this morning. And if you're going to watch this later on, get connected to Mr. Dr. Farouk, and he will help you definitely step into your greatness. If you want to be at the book launch, I'll be launching this book in Florida in July, and I'll be launching Les Brown Change Our Lives in London in October. So get in touch with us, and we'll definitely help you and support